Dearest Swami, respected elders, dear brothers and sisters. I thought I'll begin with a question as to how you would respond if somebody comes and praises you. Now, the praise can be either private or public. It can be behind your back or on your face. But what would be your response when somebody praises you? Now, this was a question I asked myself, and when I thought about it, I felt that it will depend on whether I perceive that praise to be true or false. My response would depend on that. If I feel that praise is true, in the sense if I feel that I have done something good and a person is recognizing and he is telling it to me, then I will graciously accept the praise. I will tell him or her, thank you, yes, I am happy that you saw it that way, thank you for telling it to me, something like that. I will graciously accept the praise. Now, if it is false, and if I am a decent human being, which I hope I am, I will tell him that, no, this is, you got this wrong, it is not like this. There is one of my juniors in college whom a lot of people feel he looks like me, and he or I look like him. Now, he is a very, very good singer. He keeps singing in the mandir, and many times people come to me and tell, Sairam, very nice it was, how you sang. I'm actually tempted to tell, oh, thank you, it's all God's grace. But I'm scared that I may have to meet them again in the future, and then they will know that I'm a liar. So I tell them, no, you got me confused. This is not me, this is Ashwath Narayan. Yeah, many people have done this mistake. And Ashwath Narayan also tells me that many people come and tell him that he spoke very well also. So basically, if somebody gives me a praise that is not true, which I don't deserve, again I just tell them that no, this is not meant for me. Why am I speaking about praise when today's theme is about handling criticism? Lord Krishna tells that a devotee who is dear to him is the one who practices sukha dukkhe same kritva labha labho jaya jayo. Meaning, one who has equanimity in the face of adversity or joy, profit or loss, sorrow or happiness, he is the one who is dear to me. Now that shloka refers to equanimity in the highest sense, where nothing affects you. You are an ocean of tranquility, peace and calm, irrespective of what happens. Because you have realized that you are not this body, you are not this mind, you are something beyond, and anything that affects only the body and mind, it doesn't touch me. Fire can't burn me, water can't wet me, nothing, neither can any weapon harm me. Now that is a level that very difficult according to me to reach. But the beauty of the Sanskrit language is the same few words convey multiple meanings. And I feel this sukha dukkhe same kritva conveys different meanings based on our level. One more meaning of this sukha dukkhe same kritva is to treat happiness and sorrow in the same manner. One need not be equanimous, but how do you treat a joyful news? Treat a sorrowful news in the same manner. Same kritva. How do you treat profit? Treat loss in the same manner. If you are a businessman and you make it a profit, what is your response? Can you keep the same response when you have a loss? And with this inspiration of sukha dukkhe same kritva, I thought, if I have to handle criticism, let me see how I'll handle praise. Can I handle criticism in the same manner as I handle praise? And that's why I started thinking about how will I handle when somebody praises me. Now, going by that same logic, so if somebody criticizes me, the first thought I should have is whether this is true or not. If it is true, what do I do when the praise is true? I graciously accept it and say, yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you for letting me know this. So my thought is, can I do the same thing when somebody criticizes me and that criticism is true? Somebody comes and tells me something that is wrong about me, but it is true. I know that it is true. Can I be that dear devotee of Bhagawan who says, thank you, with graciousness, thank you for letting me know this. And if the praise that is given to me is false, as I said, because I'm a decent human being, I'll tell, no, you have got this mistaken, this is not me. This is not me, or you have got a wrong idea about me. Can I do the same thing when it is criticism also? Without getting angry or without getting upset, somebody comes and tells me, Brother Arvind, you sang very well, today. How dare you tell me that way? You know that I'm not a singer and yet you're telling me. That will not be my response. I will tell, no, you're mistaken. That's not me. Can I have the same attitude when somebody criticizes me also? Oh, no, you're mistaken. That's not me. If I accept a praise that is not actually true, I am being foolish or egoistic or both. In the same way, if I respond to criticism accepting it when it is not true, I am being foolish or egoistic or both. Simple as that. These were the first thoughts that occurred, inspired by Bhagawan's discourse, which he delivered on the 24th of May 1992 on handling criticism. Swami has handled criticism more than a person can handle in a lifetime actually. He has been criticized from the beginning, and even towards the end he has been criticized. From his birth till the Mahasamadhi, till he shed the mortal coil, he's been criticized. And as Swami says, my life is my message. The way he responded to criticism is something that we can learn from. In fact, in that discourse, Swami is saying exactly this. Swami is saying, when somebody criticizes you, think whether it's true or not. Examine whether it's true or not. If it is true, be grateful to the person who criticized, because he is actually your well-wisher. He is bringing to your notice a weakness that exists in you, which you can correct and become a better person. And if what that person is telling is false, then why are you bothered also? Don't even pay heed. I mean, if we can't be that divine to go and tell him that no, you have got this wrong, just ignore him. And Swami gives his own example. Swami says, if somebody comes and calls me Buttatala Sai Baba, meaning Sai Baba with a basket head, Swami is telling, it's true, I am having a basket head, what can I do? So I will tell him, yes, I am having basket head. I'll accept it. But if somebody comes and calls me Buttatala Sai Baba, meaning bald-headed Sai Baba, I will not pay attention to him at all, because I know I am not bald-headed. So Swami boils it down to such simplicity. He says, when you are handling criticism, the only thing you have to think is whether it is true or false. If it is true, graciously accept it. If it's false, just forget it. What's the big deal about it? Swami says in that discourse. Oh my God, what's the big deal? It's a very big deal, because I don't know how to handle criticism. In the earlier days, people had to come to Puttaparthi via Bukkapatnam, catch a train to Penukonda, from Penukonda take a bus to Bukkapatnam, from Bukkapatnam come in a bullock cart, and finally the last part is on your own feet. You have to cross river Chitravati. And there was this devotee who was mentioning how when they were crossing Chitravati, there was one part which was deep, and there were two options: either quickly swim across or jump across that little depth portion. Because the bullock carts, what would happen is the bullocks are taller than the carts when you observe it on the road. So since the river would be so deep in those rainy seasons, monsoons, those are the days before Puttaparthi developed so much, and nowadays there's a lot of water requirement. So Chitravati flows only for a few weeks, that too only up to the knee or up to the waist. But there were days when Chitravati had flooded and even come up to the mandir. So that time, if people are sitting on the bullock cart, they would say that the bullocks will continue to walk in the water, but the cart is made of wood. So it will be floating on the water left, right, and therefore only the luggage would be kept on the cart. People would get down and cross. So on one such occasion, when people were crossing and there was a person hesitant whether he should jump across because he was not sure he knows swimming, a hand reached out to him and helped him jump like that. And who? It was Swami. Swami would himself go up to the Chitravati to receive devotees, help them cross. Not a big deal for him because he is helping us cross the Bhavasagara itself. What is one little river, Chitravati? But then, why I am narrating this is because that devotee said that even as Swami would help, there would be some people washing clothes, there would be some people playing in the water, washing their animals, and they would laugh and mock at Swami. There they come. They want to see this fellow, it seems, this fellow is some saint, it seems. They will mock openly, and Swami will just respond with a smile. So many people today owe their direct physical livelihood to that avatar that chose to be born here. Many times I wonder why God chose Puttaparthi. Because I carry out this exercise where to different youth groups, saying that suppose imagine that you have been given the task that you have to transform the world. You want to change the world. Because that is why an avatar comes. That's my assumption, that the avatar comes to change the world. So now suppose you have to do that. Not just one of you, a group of youth. So there now, you have all the freedom. You can choose where you want to be born, which yuga you want to be born, how much money you want, what family you want to be born. Everything is your choice, right? So when you're having all these as your choices, what will be your choices? So different groups, after their discussion, they come out with, let's be born in such and such a period when things are very good actually, Most of them believe in prevention being better than cure. Let's come at a time when the world is not messed up, so that we'll prevent it from getting messed up. Once it gets messed up, cleaning is very tough. So they want to come in some peaceful, good time, with lots of wealth, because more wealth means more influence, possibly more effective things you can do. Be born to a mighty, influential family. All these things. Now my next question is, when a group of intelligent youth are able to decide that these are the best circumstances to be born under, so that you can transform the world, why did the fountainhead of all wisdom, why did Bhagawan make such poor choices? Being born right in between two world wars, when the world is at its most disastrous. Being born in a family that can afford to feed you only 2 times a day also, rarely. Being born in a place that is not even on the postal map of India, not connected by road, nothing. What sort of foolish choice is that? Just feels like that. There's a reason for everything, but Bhagawan did that, Bhagawan did that. He chose all these circumstances which are absolutely difficult, possibly to just show that all you need is love. You have love and everything can happen. In the later years, people would speak of how that same town is now connected not just by road, but by rail. There's a state highway passing by, there's a national highway passing by. Why? There's an Asian highway, AH-43 passes close to Puttaparthi. There's an aerodrome, there's a railway station. Broadband connectivity is at its best. Everything is happening, everything has happened. Because my life is my message. Bhagavan's life is his message. Bhagavan even physically showed that you need nothing other than love and selflessness. And Swami is a great marketing agent. He will tell it also like that. You don't need anything, only selflessness. That is the toughest thing. Because we reek of selfishness. We are always thinking of anything in terms of what benefit it will be there for me. If it's not there, why should I do it? Why should I do? Why should I vote? I won't vote. In a democracy like India, many people question the logic behind voting. Anyway, somebody will come, something will happen, my life is going to be the same. In my humble opinion, when we ask a question, why should I vote? It's not going to change my life anyway. That's very selfish. That is how we think always. Is it going to be beneficial to me? No, then why I should do it? I'll never think once also, is it going to be beneficial for somebody else? By me doing this, will it benefit somebody else? Nah, why? Will it benefit me? Even our contacts in the phone. Too many contacts I have to delete. This fellow, do I need him? No, delete. Do I need him? I'll never think, will he need me? No. Do I need him? No, delete. I will never think, if at all he is in trouble, only person he can contact is me, let me keep his contact. We will never think like that. Whether it's Facebook friendship or whether it is mobile phone contacts, it's always about what is there in it for me. In fact, I remember on one occasion, see, as a speaker, I speak on different themes and topics. Not that I'm practicing them, I'm at least speaking about them. Because I like to believe what Swami says. Swami says, pretend to be good. Pretend to be good at least. Then you will tend to be good. Finally, you will end being good. So I am starting at the pretending level. Swami gives a story also of a thief, a Chinna Katha, where a thief robs everything and runs, and he's about to get caught, so he dumps it in a lake, throws away his shirt and applies some dust to his forehead and sits in a meditative pose. And then people come and say, Maharaj ji, did you see a thief here? He says, no. Oh, but okay, we lost the thief, but we discovered a Maharaj. Slowly people in the village start visiting him with fruits, this thing. He's stealing silver vessels here. People are coming with offerings in gold vessels. And he realizes the futility. He says, oh my God, just by acting as a person who loves God, I'm getting so much. If I really love God, I think I will get everything that I need. And he actually becomes a saint. And Swami says, that's what happens. You pretend. Start with pretending to be good at least. You'll tend to be good and finally you'll end being good. That is probably the reason why Swami would strongly discourage people from taking on negative roles in convocation dramas also. And we would try to convince Swami, don't worry, you're just pretending to be bad. No, that is the beginning, don't. Don't pretend to be bad also, because you'll tend to be bad and you'll end being bad. Pretend to be good. Now, how did I get lost in the bylanes and lanes. So coming back to the criticism part. So Swami says when it is not true, why do you respond? And his life, as I said, is his message. Throughout he has led his life like that. It's in that context I went into all this detour, saying that Swami is selfless, purity. He wanted to show the world that if you have selflessness and love, everything will come. You don't need anything at all. And he markets it, telling that only selflessness. Selflessness is so difficult because we are steeped into selfishness. We are always thinking about what is there in it for me. As I said, on different themes when I'm speaking, on one occasion I was speaking on the theme of selflessness. That was the theme. And at the end of the talk, somebody came and asked me, so this is very nice, the selflessness and all. So if I'm selfless, I will get peace and happiness? And I was like, that is the point, man. If you're selfless means you should not ask whether you'll get peace and happiness or not. You just be selfless for selflessness' sake. Even in being selfless, I'm asking what is the benefit I will get if I'm selfless? It defeats the purpose. So, when faced with criticism, it's best to start with a question whether it is true. If it's true, accept it graciously. If it's false, just let go of it. There's one story that Swami often narrates of the two disciples of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. Swami says that Ramakrishna Paramahamsa lived near the temple there, Dakshineshwar temple, and his disciples would take turns to go and fetch supplies for the ashram. And on one occasion, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, he sent Brahmananda, one of his disciples, to go and fetch supplies. And so they had to cross the river, go to the town or city, get the supplies and cross back the river and reach the ashram. So when Brahmananda was that day taking the ferry, it was a public ferry where you pay some amount and everybody gets onto the boat. When he's going there on the boat, many people come and start mocking him. Here he comes, the disciple of that monk. That Ramakrishna, he is also a madman, his disciples are also mad, and they go on, criticizing. Brahmananda is just silent. He goes and comes back, and once he reaches his master, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa asks him, what happened in the boat today? And he says, Master, while I went and they started talking all this, and that's what happened when both the times, when I was going as well as I was coming. And what did you do? I didn't do anything, Master. I just kept silent. And now Ramakrishna Paramahamsa appears hurt. He says, your guru is being criticized and you're not doing anything? How can you be simpler? You have no faith in your Guru? Is that true what they said? No, Guruji. Then how could you be silent? And that days is over. The next day it's the chance of Vivekananda to go and get whatever, the supplies for the ashram. And the next day again Ramakrishna Paramahamsa asked him, so what happened when you went there? On the boat anything happened? He says, yes. Those fellows started criticizing. And what did you do? What I did, I told them, just shut up or else I'm going to throw you into the river. And then did they shut up? No, they didn't shut up. So therefore I picked one fellow and threw him in the river. Then they shut up. And then after that nothing. I went and got the supplies. No, on the return journey, should have seen them. They won't open their mouth. They just shut up and they sat. I showed them. Tomorrow, next time they do, I'll capsize the boat. And Ramakrishna Paramahamsa says, I'm really ashamed of you. You are here to conquer the greatest enemies of man and achieve the ultimate. And you don't have even this much control on your anger. Vivekananda is now stunned. What is this, man? Yesterday you spoke like that, today you are speaking like this. And Bhagawan would tell in his discourse that, see, it is like air in the tires of a vehicle. Too much air, bad, it will burst. Too little air, the journey is uncomfortable. For a comfortable journey, correct amount of air should be there. And Swami would say that is what a guru does. If there is too much air, he will remove. Whenever I'm driving to Bangalore, there is one automated this air pumping station with the petrol bunk at Chikbalapur. So when I stop there, that's what happens. He just puts in the required amount of air for the tire and puts it into the tire. If there is less air, it pumps in. If there is more air, it only removes automatically. So Swami says the guru is like that. It's not always that he pumps. He'll remove also. He'll deflate and inflate so that you are at the perfect level. Very nice story. Very nice insight. But I was wondering, how does this apply to me practically? So tomorrow if somebody comes and criticizes Swami, should I keep silent or should I throw them out of the boat? That is my question. How do I know what is the level of my air? Am I on the lesser side of the air or am I over pumped? I don't know. So thinking of that, again spent a lot of time contemplating, thinking of this. And as I'm saying, these are thoughts that have been inspired in me. You can take it or leave it. I'm just sharing, that's all. What I felt is, from the Vivekananda, Ramakrishna, Brahmananda episode, what we can derive is that my response is necessary as long as it either reinforces me or helps bring a change somewhere or does both of them. Possibly in the first case, Brahmananda's case, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa wanted to tell him that no, you can't be so diffident. You have to have that confidence. You know your guru, right? Yes. So you needed to respond because it is going to reinforce your own self. Now, when it came to Vivekananda, you don't need any reinforcing. You are very confident. You are ready to take on the world itself. So, what you did it at least bring a change in the others? Did it bring about a change? Did it transform them? No, it just brought about fear. Fear brings only temporary transformation. It's only love that brings permanent transformation. And that is why Swami would say to all of us, as students, don't do this by force, do it from source. Because if you do it by force, you will do it now. Once you go back home, you will not do it. Future in life, you won't do it. You will in fact look back terribly on this. So don't do this. Don't do it only from source. Don't do it by force. Don't be hypocritical. Because fear can never bring about a permanent transformation. It can possibly bring about a transformation temporarily for some time, as long as that source of fear exists. Once that source of fear goes, the transformation is also gone. Think about disciplining children. You tell, if you do that, I'm going to give you. Yes, in India, as parents, 1 or 2 beatings we give. The children don't have the right to sue us in court and do all that, and there's no child protection that comes and takes them off and all that. The difference I feel is, in Indian society, disciplining the child is still within the confines of the family. In the name of child rights, treating children as adults, the responsibility of disciplining children has been thrust upon society in other countries. How much can society bear? The responsibility of the family is gone to the society. Anyway, that's a different subject altogether. But we beat children, and when we beat children, it has to be followed up with explanation and love also. Because if that doesn't happen, if disciplining is by fear alone and not by wisdom and love following it up, then when the child grows enough to be either stronger than the parent, you will see the case where the child hits back at the parent. And the parent can do nothing about it because he or she is now weaker than the child who has grown up. Fear has only a temporary effect. Swami would also scold. But that scolding, or even a slap that a few blessed boys have got, I really feel blessed are those who have received a few slaps from Bhagawan. Even those who have received the slap, they hold their cheek in all fondness and remember that. That's because it is backed by love. Love is the only thing that can bring about change. Fear cannot. Permanent change, only love. And so coming back to this episode of Vivekananda and Brahmananda, what Vivekananda did, it didn't bring change at all. It brought a temporary change because they felt, hey, this guy is strong, he's also mad, he'll really live up to his threat, so just better shut up. Tomorrow some other Ananda will come, then we will mock him. That's all it was. So neither did it serve the purpose of reinforcing oneself, nor did it bring about any transformation in the other. Then there is no need of a response. This is my understanding of this episode. Otherwise, it's difficult to know whether I have less air or more air, whether my guru wants me to utilize this opportunity to pump myself or to deflate myself. I don't know that. But this much I can do on a practical front to see whether I need to reinforce myself with a response. When somebody comes and tells me that, no man, you're not studying well, you're up to no good, you're no use, I think you will fail. Inside me, is it destroying my confidence? If it is destroying my confidence, I'll open up and speak. To reinforce myself, I will speak. I will say, you know nothing, you're judging me wrong, just give me one more opportunity, I'm going to crack this examination. I feel good telling that. Whether the person criticizing me believes it or not, no problem. I'm doing it to reinforce myself. If somebody comes and tells, hey, the Swami is nonsense, what? You're going behind some man, calling him God. If I sense that that person is open and I'm calm, and if I explain to him, actually he will start appreciating what Swami has done and showing some interest in Swami. Then my job is done. Because we need not actually market Swami or tell, just have to introduce, give person taste. His own or her own experience will take care. Because as they tell it in marketing terms, when you have a good product backing you, it's easy to sell it. You have to do extra marketing only if something is bad. If you want to sell a heater to somebody in the desert, you have to really work very hard. If you want to sell a heater to somebody who is living in a snow-capped region, you just need not do anything. You have to tell, here's the heater, do you want warmth? He will buy it. So, when your product is good for that situation, you need not do much marketing. We need not market Swami at all. So if I feel when somebody criticizes Swami, if I am able to, speak something or do something which will possibly bring change, bring transformation in the other person, then I'll do it. This is my understanding. So therefore, when somebody criticizes, first thing is see whether it's true or not. If it's true, accept it graciously. If it is not true, what to do? You have to see the response. What is the response? The response should be given only if it reinforces me, or if it is going to bring about some transformation in the other. If it does neither, then there is no need to respond. Again, as I said, Swami's life is his message. We can look at his own life, see how he responded to different people. There is this beautiful experience of Mrs. Kamala Sarathi. She came in the 1940s to Bhagawan In those days when, as I said, you had to come by train, bus and bullock cart and wade across the river, come here. The way she came is very, very interesting, you know. There were two twins. Yeah, of course, twins are always two. So, these twin brothers were called Raman and Lakshmanan from Chennai. They were singers from the Venkatagiri kingdom. They used to go there and sing often, and we have a few recordings of Swami singing along with them, some Tyagaraja Kritis. It's there on the Radio Sai site. It's very beautiful. The recording quality may not be that great, but it's amazing. And during many Dasaras and many festivals in Prasanthi Nilayam, Bhagawan would tell these two twins, these two brothers to come over. Now the brother Raman, he used to work with All India Radio in Delhi. So once Lakshmanan had sent him a postcard telling that, hey, Dasara is coming, Swami has called, you should come here. Now, Raman was also a music teacher to Mrs. Kamala Sarthi's daughter, who happens to be the mother of the former registrar of our university, Dr. Naren Ramji. So his mother was learning music under Raman. And the day this postcard reached their home, the grandmother, that is Kamala Sarthi, Mrs. Kamala Sarthi, she read the postcard without that person's notice. And she got to know, who is this Sai Baba? What is this? That was her introduction to Sai Baba. And she came to Puttaparthi because her daughter's music teacher, who is so accomplished and a grade A artist in All India Radio, is going to some secluded part of the country in some village because God is there. So when she first came to Puttaparthi, there was no Prasanthi Nilayam at that time, Pathamandiram. So when she even entered the bhajan hall, the Pathamandir bhajan hall can seat about 150 people if everybody is packed like sardines. Otherwise, about 100 is the maximum capacity. So when she entered there itself, Swami announced, here Kamala has come. She has come from Delhi. See, nobody needs any invitation. When Bhagawan's will is there, people will come on their own. Nobody needs to be invited. This was something that Bhagawan would even say in his discourses later on. Who has invited you here? Nobody invites you to come to God. It's foolish. In fact, if you are being invited to a place telling that God is there, you should come, you can think that there is something fishy there itself. Because God says, I will not, nobody needs to invite anybody. Whoever is ready, whoever is in that stage, I myself will call and they will come. As Shirdi Baba would say, they would come like sparrows whose feet have been tied to a string and the string is pulled. You can't escape, you will have to come. That is how Mrs. Kamala Sarthi from an influential Delhi family landed up in this remote hamlet. And Swami announced this. But Mrs. Kamala Sarthi was not impressed. She was not impressed at all with this. And yet she was eager and keen to know what is the truth. She stayed on. She stayed on for 10 days. At the end of 10 days, it was time for her to leave. And surprisingly to her own self, she was feeling a little sad to leave Puttaparthi and go. And then she was ruminating over the different people who had left. Different people will come and go. She would see that whenever they are coming to Puttaparthi, they are coming with lot of joy and excitement in spite of the hardship. And when they are going, she would see that they are going in the bullock cart, sobbing like children. And Swami would be telling them, don't worry, you will come again, I will call you soon, don't worry. And Swami would stand on one raised boulder, pick up his white handkerchief and keep waving to them till they disappear in the horizon. Until they disappear in the horizon, they'll be crying and sobbing, and she would wonder, what is this happening? Everybody is coming and, crying and going. It's opposite of what we think God does. We think people come crying to God and go away smiling. The truth is, people come crying to God and go away crying. Only thing is, first is the tears of sorrow, the other is the tears of joy and tears of fulfillment and tears of not being able to stand the separation from Him. So when she saw all this, she was lost in her thoughts. She was thinking that, I don't know whether He is God or not, but the way these people, oh my God, I think this is what they call as love. Till now, whatever I have seen or understood as love in the world is possibly wrong. This is love. So I don't know whether He is God or not, but definitely there is tremendous love in this place. even as she was thinking like this, she had a pat on her shoulder. She looked up and it was Swami. Swami said, Kamala, what you're thinking is right. Continue thinking like this, you will understand everything. And Swami walked away. She was bold. That was it. That was how she became a devotee. And it continues 4 generations later, even now. So people who were critical of Swami, it is not as if Swami ignored them. Swami, he would look. He knows whether, see, it is not as if Swami needs any reinforcing. He doesn't need to respond because he needs to reinforce himself. No. That is why in most of the cases he doesn't respond. The only case Swami responds when he is criticized is when it is going to bring about a transformation in the other person. For a transformation to come in the other person, as Swami would say, if you want to fill a vessel with sweet water, you can fill it with sweet water if it is empty. If it is already filled with mucky water or salt water, you have to wait to empty the salt water and then fill it. So also, when a person is ready, is coming open, empty, open, you fill me, I am going to come, because I am going to come and sample. If I carry my own preconceived notions and I am already convinced, I am just coming here to, I am already concluded what Swami is and I am coming and just thinking he'll reinforce, it won't happen. In the 1970s especially, there were many so-called rationalists, in quotes rationalists, scientists so-called, who wanted to challenge Swami. In most cases, it was the case of trying to get on some kind of publicity by openly challenging Swami. There was a magician also who challenged Swami. And after that, he made a big name for himself in India. That is there. But he's a magician. And that magician and these other people, they had different challenges. They said, we will eat glass. If you are God, you also eat glass. Swami didn't even bother about that. In fact, in a discourse, Swami mentioned, if a pig comes and tells you, if you are greater than me, I eat excreta, you also eat. Will you eat? This is what Swami said. I can't change the pig. The pig will be a pig. You give it the most beautiful scented bath and prepare a grand feast, paneer, butter masala, Manchurian and fried rice. It will still go and eat that rot and excrement only. It will also dirty itself. There is no use. So, why do you respond to a pig if it is not going to reinforce you or it is going to transform the pig? That's what Swami said. He's saying he'll eat glass, and if I am God, I should also eat glass. If a pig comes and tells me, I eat this, if you are greater than me, eat this, will I eat? I won't eat. Because it is not going to bring any transformation in you. As I said, Swami doesn't need to reinforce himself. That is something for us. We have to respond if one, it reinforces us or it transforms other. For Swami, it's boiled down to only one thing. I will respond if it's going to bring about a transformation in you. Otherwise, I will not bother at all. That is why so many people abuse Swami, criticize Swami, misuse Swami's name, and Swami is just silent. To take care of all that, I have created a system. It's called karma. It will take care. I need not do anything at all. But if you are doing it out of ignorance and you are really open, then I will give you a chance. That's what happened with Rusi Karanjia. Rusi Karanjia, the founder and editor of Blitz. Blitz is an investigative tabloid. I think it was a weekly or a fortnightly tabloid that he came out with, and ruthless he was in his investigation for truth. And in 1970s, when all this was going on, in 1976 precisely, he came here. He came to expose this Bhagawan Sri Sathya Sai Baba, whom he thought was a fake acting as God. He felt that his investigative journalism will expose the truth. But in his favor, it must be said that he came with an open mind, as he has done with everybody else. He has interviewed Fidel Castro of Cuba. He has interviewed some of the world's biggest politicians, influential people, everyone. Every time go with an open mind. Because the mind always is like a parachute. It works best when it's open. If it's not open, it will lead you to death. You will come crashing down. So he had come with an open mind, but he had heard a lot of nonsense about Swami. And that's what he he came and he directly said, Swami, I hear nonsense about you. What is this? Swami said, come ask me. What you want, I'll answer. It was a mammoth 2.5 hour interview, at the end of which the Blitz carried an article which said, God lives in India. God lives in India. He said, God is an Indian. So when people, Kamala Sarthi, Rusi Karanjia, anybody, you, me, as long as our mind is open, then Bhagawan, yes, our criticism is taken on. Don't worry. Your mind is open, so there is a scope. I will respond because it will help bring about a transformation. But if the mind is not open, you come and throw dirt, I won't bother. And I feel the same thing when, especially, as Sai devotees, I have faced 2-3 times where people come to criticize about Swami. And every time I have responded passionately before. But today I think I am wiser. See, what you say is not going to matter to me at all. And if it starts mattering to me, then to reinforce myself, I will defend Swami. Or if I feel that you are open enough to have a discussion, sane discussion, then I will explain to you so that you can also get transformed. But if neither of the two, I'll try to just run away from there. The internet possibly there are some sites dedicated to writing negative about Swami. And I used to go and see, let me see what is there. With thorough investigation, I see that not 95, 96%, 99% is all cooked up. There's 1%, you take on that and then just build up lies and full lies only. But even though it is full lies, to understand that it is full lies, I needed to investigate so much here. Because I got shaken. And that is why I feel it is so important that we keep good company, Satsangha. We have ourselves experienced. It's not like I was a newcomer, I was a fresher. I have experienced Bhagawan. He is my Lord. He is my family deity. If I go to Tirupati, I see Swami there. I go anywhere, I think of Swami. Whether I'm happy or sad, by His grace, I think of Swami. It's so wonderful. In spite of all that, yet reading nonsense actually shook me. I just thought this it's slightly a detour, but it is so important that we keep good company. When Swami says, tell me your company, I'll tell you what you are. It's not just about my physical company. It's not just about my friends and relatives. It's about the company that I keep for my thoughts. Yesterday I was watching one TED talk where science, he begins his talk by telling, whether you believe in God or not, God influences you. This is how he begins his talk. And he speaks about how the mind gets influenced. He says God is an idea. God is possibly the greatest idea that the world has invented. And he says that when you are associated with a great idea, you tend to live longer, you tend to be healthier, you tend to be good. So he says, I am an atheist. I don't believe in God, but I meditate on God because it's good for my brain and body. This is what he says. And we have heard this, as Proverbs. It says that cheap minds discuss people. Average minds discuss events. Great minds discuss ideas. It's not that you have to be a great mind to discuss an idea. When you discuss an idea, your mind becomes great. That's how scientifically it's being discovered, when they see which parts of the brain, because today technology is there which can map the brain, see what things fire up. That is why positive thinking is a scientific fact. When you associate your thoughts with noble ideas, good things, it will help even physically. In physical health, mental health, psychological health, peace, calm, joy. I used to do this thought experiment. This thought experiment is a term that has been popularized by Albert Einstein. Because Albert Einstein shocked the world of physicists, shocked the world of physics, because none of his experiments were actual experiments. An experiment is something that should be replicable. Whoever does it, they should get the same result. Einstein said, yes, this is replicable, but this is a thought experiment. If you also think like this, you will also get the same result. And that is why people opposed him. If we look at the life of Albert Einstein, though he is considered the greatest physicist today, during those times he was mocked. His special theory his general theory of relativity was called general nonsense, and special theory of relativity was called special nonsense. That's all. He was given a Nobel Prize for his photoelectric effect, which upset him a lot because he felt that's just a small thing. You are insulting the theory of relativity by not giving me a Nobel Prize for that. He was not upset. He was upset that he's getting a Nobel Prize for something that is not so grand as this. Today, everything is based on that. So, what we associate ourselves with, we become that. And that is why, even if we feel that, yeah, my faith in Swami is solid, yes, now let me see what these critics are telling. No need, why? Let us not try to fight the pigs in the muck. Because we will get dirty and the pig will enjoy it. The pig enjoys fighting in the muck. So let's not do that. As a test for our, in fact, one of my teachers in school was narrating this, how he also decided to do this once. He said, what are these critics talking about Swami? Let me check it out. And then he said, after 2 days, he was shaken. He was thinking, what is this now? What is this? Because the mind is such, it searches for logic. So till everything is logically concluded, even the fact that it is all lies, you need a conclusive proof for that. That's an amazing thing. If somebody comes and tells you a lie about somebody, your wife did like this, your husband did this, your brother did this. How could he? Our mind is such that it holds on to negativity in such a manner, we will never think that, hey, you are lying, man. No. I want proof that that is not true. Anybody who comes in our ambit is guilty unless proven innocent. While our constitution says that a person should be innocent till proven guilty. But we don't do that. Even our media does that. Somebody, he has done a 4,000 crore scam. Hey, he's terrible. He's a looter. Throw him in under bars. Hey, wait, who told? He's already guilty. Now he has to go to court to prove his innocence. While actually, under the ideal scenario, a person is innocent till proven guilty. Okay, you are telling he swindled 4,000 crores. Prove it. Once it's proved, he is guilty. We do the same thing for Swami also. That's what happens because our mind is like that. This is also based on a scientific research. Fear is something that affects a part of the brain called amygdala. It's the size of a cashew nut, that's all. So, they have noticed that throwing ugly images in front of you excites the amygdala instantly. It brings about so much response. That is the reason when they want to make you do action, they show negative things. They'll show you a child eating from the garbage bin, eating excrement in Africa. So that you get moved to do something for Africa. For war, they show you horrors. They will never show you a beautiful, peaceful world and say, look, this is how the world will be if there is no war. So now contribute for this. Nobody will contribute. Same thing, some ugly image is shown because we are made like that. A negative thing elicits an instant response. While a positive thing apparently doesn't seem to bring any response at all. That is why it is important that we keep doing positive things over and over and over and over and over and over and again. Because positive things are apparently the metaphorical equivalent of the tortoise in that rabbit and the tortoise. It is slow but steady. Fear, of course, as I said, fear is not a permanent change. It lasts for some time and then it's gone. Fear is temporary, but it brings about an instant response. Negativity is not permanent, but it brings an instant response. Positivity is permanent, but it takes a lot of time to bring a response. That is what modern research has discovered. And now, in this light also, it becomes so important that we avoid this negative company. Avoid these negative things. Let me not think that, now I am 15 years devotee, I am solid. Bring on the critics. No need. Why? So when this teacher had read that, he also got affected. He said, oh my God, what is this? Because I need now. Now, unless proven innocent, Swami is guilty. Like that it happens. That is when, he prayed and opened a Sathya Sai speaks. And he said that Swami is saying, people nowadays are like two people standing on the ground and fighting whether that plane flying in the sky has a pilot or not. Swami says there is no way you can be logical and true. There are only two ways to tell whether there is a pilot or not. One, you board the aircraft. Or two, wait for the aircraft to land and see. Swami says that's what it is. Either you ascend to the level of God or wait for the avatar to come and go. These are the only two ways. You come and experience, and that is the only way you can find out. Otherwise it's foolish. And once he read that, he felt calm, nice, and he left it. Now in this context, I would just like to share one, I don't know who has made this, but I got this Android app. It's called Answers from Swami. I don't know who made this app. It's a beautiful app, and it has got apparently random quotes from Swami's multiple discourses. I don't know how much of it, 200 or 400 or 500. So anytime you're in a deep trouble, just pray and just put it on, and for me it has come amazing. The answers that throw up, it's amazing. I feel this is a modern equivalent of opening the Sathya Sai Speaks randomly. It's very beautiful. It has helped me so much, and that's why I'm just sharing. I'm just sharing things that have benefited me. I don't know who has made the app. I have no connection with the person who has made the app, but it's a beautiful idea. It's an idea worth sharing, and that's why I'm sharing it. But sadly, I think it's there only for the Android phones now. It's not there as an iPhone app. Anyway, so coming back to criticism and handling criticism, I've just got 10 more minutes. I have actually diverted to one specific kind of criticism, which is what do we do when somebody criticizes Swami. I've already to some extent we have got the answer on what to do when somebody criticizes us, which is, if it's true, accept it graciously. If it is false, you have to respond. If you have to respond or not, that is based on whether the response is going to help reinforce yourself or the response is going to bring some transformation in the other person. Otherwise, just let it go. That's all it is. Now, when it comes to criticism of Swami, it always happens that we get so agitated, Sometimes I feel you criticize me, no problem, man, don't touch my Swami. Don't touch my Swami. I actually, when Swami would narrate Brahmananda and Vivekananda, I used to feel that Ramakrishna Paramahamsa was wise in the case of Brahmananda, but foolish in the case of Vivekananda. Do that. I also feel like throwing people off the boat, of the ship, of the aeroplane, wherever. If you criticize Swami that's what happens. But apparently Swami is not like that. What Swami says is so beautiful. This happened to Professor Nanjundaiah, who was formerly controller of examinations. Before that, he was a lecturer. He had come in the 1970s to Bhagawan, early 1970s. And as I said, 1970s was a period where a lot of people gained fame by criticizing Swami. See, there are two ways to get fame. Either do something good or go and throw muck on somebody who is doing good. So you will be famous as the one who threw muck on somebody who is doing good. This is the easier way, as I said. Negative thing is always faster, but it doesn't last. Today you will not remember the people who threw muck on Albert Einstein. I remember because 2 days back I saw the documentary on his life. Otherwise you won't remember who were the ones who threw muck on Albert Einstein. But in those days, they were more famous than Albert Einstein. So that's what happens. So it's the same thing about negativity. Negativity is instant but temporary. Positivity is not instant, but it's constant and permanent. So Professor Nanjundaiah in the 1970s, he got so upset with all this nonsense going on, people criticizing, writing articles about Swami. He wrote a letter to Swami. And in that letter he wrote, Swami, I have a prayer to you. You are the supreme lord of the universe. You control everything. Even a blade of grass cannot move without your will. So these rascals were, he used other words, I think. I'm just using the word rascals. Whoever is writing all this against you, Swami, they should not be able to write only. They should not be able to put pen to paper. They should not be able to type only. Just do like that, Swami. That is my prayer. This is what he prayed. And he gave the letter to Bhagawan. And because he didn't know what else to do. That's all. We pray to Swami only. What else to do if Swami only has to take care? So a few days later, Swami was going for a drive in the car towards Bangalore. Suddenly he sees Professor Nanjundaiah and he says, hey Nanjundaiah, come here. Come sit in the car. So he's very thrilled at this opportunity. He sits in the car and he's saying, Swami, I'm so grateful. It's so wonderful. Thank you for I don't know what I did to deserve this, but thank you. Then Swami told him, you wrote something in that letter, no? What was that you wrote? So, Swami, I wrote that, Swami, that these people who are simply they don't know, Swami, they don't know about you, simply nonsense they write. They should not be able to write only, Swami. They should possibly not be able to think also. That is when Swami told him, Swami said, hey, you have no right to pray like that. Swami said, you have no right to pray like that. freedom has been given to everybody. What they do with that freedom is a choice. Of course, the choice has consequences. But I can't take away the choice. You have chosen to love me. And that choice will bring you the consequences. They have chosen to do that. And that choice will bring them the consequences. You are nobody to pray for anybody's choice to be restricted. That freedom is given to everybody. That's what Swami said. Professor Nanjundaiah was not a one to let go easily. So he said, Swami, I'm praying to you then that when these people write all this nonsense and rubbish, none of it should reach my eyes or ears. So I'm saying, this you can pray. This you are allowed. This you can pray. So, in contrast to that, how stupid of us if we go searching for, if our ears and eyes go searching for such nonsense, rubbish. So Swami also said, no, that is there. It is their freedom. That is the freedom that has been given. That is what differentiates us from animals. We can choose to behave like animals if we want. That is the freedom we have been given. But of course, with that choice, we have those consequences. We can choose to behave divine if we want. With that, we will have those consequences. That is why I said Swami doesn't bother, because the karma theory is there to take care of. Many times I feel, this is what I feel. If somebody does something wrong and something that irritates me, I calm myself saying, no problem, that karma is there. Karma theory is there. And if I am lucky, when karma theory is giving back, I will get a chance to see that also. This is how I tell myself. But basically, it all boils down to everything is about my own spiritual growth. My response to any situation of criticism, whether it is of Swami or myself, is what should I do so that because of this I grow spiritually. There was this donkey that fell in a well. And people started mocking the donkey, playing the donkey, and out of fun they started throwing muck on the donkey, throwing mud on the donkey. The donkey would receive the mud on its back and just dust it off. Receive, dust it off. And as the mud gathered, it built up a staircase and it came out of the well. Of course, it's just a story, but it's a very inspiring story for me. Can I use the muck that is thrown on me? A donkey could use it to get out of its depths. Can't me, being a man, use the muck thrown on me to get out? Can I use everything that I receive in life is prasadam from Bhagawan? How can I use it to better my life? When we receive prasadam in a temple, sometimes it's not very tasty. Sometimes it will, but we won't tell, this prasadam, no, you can keep back, priest. It's not tasty, I don't like. No, when it's prasadam, whatever it is, we accept and eat. If it is a leaf, it's a flower. I will not go and eat rose petals, but at Samadhi they will give, I'll eat. I eat the rose petals. They'll give leaf. I don't even check which plant it is, whether it has been washed, nothing. Prasadam means taken. Because why? It is good for me. Bhagawan is giving, what can be wrong in that? Before drinking water in the hotel, we'll say, no, not is it water? Which water? No, get bottled water. And seal should be unopened. I only should open. All this I tell. And in the temple, that fellow, trunk, he'll be giving tirtham. I won't think only, just put it, drink it off. Where did he catch that water? Where he has poured it on that idol? That he has, nothing I think. That is the bhavam when we receive prasadam. And Bhagavan says, everything that you receive in life is prasadam. When we receive it like that, then we are always looking at how this is making me grow spiritually, how this is helping me. Because ultimately, in the last 3 minutes possibly, the most beautiful example for me of facing criticism is Bhagavan Krishna. When Shishupala abused him. Shishupala's story is a little long story, how he was born and what everything. Basically, it boiled down to a fact where Shishupala's mother knew that her son is going to become an anti-God fellow, anti-Krishna fellow. He is going to upset Krishna. And when he upsets Krishna, Krishna is going to, because when somebody fights with God, God is always the winner, that's all. So she went and said, Krishna, please, if my son upsets you or insults you or whatever, please forgive him, okay? Krishna said, yes, I'll forgive him. Not 1 time, 100 times I'll forgive him. Her mother felt, Abba, safe. This much insurance is enough. 100 times Shishupala won't do. But Shishupala was like that. During the Rajasuya Yagna, everyone decided that Krishna should be the first one to receive offerings. And Shishupala felt insulted. He was a king. I think of the kingdom of Chedi or something like that. He got up and said, how can a cowherd receive this? He's not only a cowherd, he's a coward also. He kept running from Jarasandha. And Krishna is just smiling. As he goes on, and Bhishma is there, Drona is there, they're all accomplished people, elder people. This fellow is a young fellow, he's a half-wit, nothing, he has spent half his life with cows, that's all. Possibly he knows how to remove milk, that's all. All this is going on. And everybody's reaction is like ours, based on their own level of evolution, their understanding. There are some who are wanting to just go and slice his head and chop him off. There are some others who are telling, calm down, Shishupala, this is not right. There are the two ends of the spectrum, and in between everybody, I felt it is so typical. This is how it happens in the world. And somebody is criticizing, all the responses are there. But Krishna himself is just sitting and smiling. He's counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 11. The thing is, even Shishupala is counting. One, he knows. He is intelligently criticizing. He criticizes and abuses in all words possible, because he has decided at 99 I will stop and get away with all the insult. Nothing Krishna can do. But remember, we were speaking about pretend, tend, end. Once you start doing something, it's difficult to control. Shishupala stops at 99 and smiles. Krishna smiles and says, that's done. Shishupala is a king who is supposed to subjugate kingdoms. By talking only, he gets tired. He doesn't have energy to speak one more word. Come, let's proceed now. He says, you eat, that's it. And Swami says, that instant, Krishna just picks up a plate and throws it. Like a frisbee, a tambulam plate. It goes and chops off the neck of Shishupala. That's done. No, and somebody is criticizing, that Krishna, that Sai, that Swami is there by our side. It's a matter of one moment, one plate, and it can go off. But if that is not happening, it's with a reason. It's with a reason. That is our surrender. That should be our bhava. Whatever is happening is with a reason. It's for the good. The good meaning either it is going to help reinforce myself or transform me, or transform the other. That's it. Otherwise, I keep quiet because I don't understand. But the beautiful thing, the story doesn't end there. Shishupala's head is chopped off. And there's absolute silence. Krishna walks up to Shishupala, and the light from Shishupala comes and merges into Krishna. And Krishna says, he might have criticized me, but he was thinking only of me all his life. That is the beauty of the Lord. Doesn't matter whether you think of me by abusing me or you think of me by loving me. You will merge into me. So then why we should think of Swami in a loving manner? Let's abuse him. We have to think of Swami in a loving manner because it's more fun that way. Shishupala merged into Krishna. Kamsa merged into Krishna, but they had horrible lives. All their lives they were tormented. The Pandavas merged into Krishna, and all their life, though everyone thinks they were tormented, they led a very happy, contented life. So by criticizing God also, we think of God, it's enough. God is like that lodestone, that paras, money. Touching it, it becomes gold. Yes, once we think of God, God is the greatest idea, as I said, even scientifically. It's done. So therefore, it doesn't matter whether you think of him critically or think of him abusively or think of him lovingly. But only thing I feel personally is to think of him lovingly and nicely is more fun. Life is so full of fun and joy. Anyway, we're going to reach moksha. We can as well enjoy the journey along. Grateful to you, Swami, for this wonderful opportunity. Thank you. Jai Sai Ram.